So first of all, I wanted to tell you that I really, really, really loved the movie.
Thank you.
It was so touching, and your last shot, it broke me
Yeah.
completely. So congratulations
Wow.
on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So it was a good, but I'd like to know, what did you like about the project and what dragged you in?
Mm. The script had an energy. It had a spirit. The dilemma, the premise, seeing a man who was managing a terminal illness and presented with an opportunity to clone himself unbeknownst to his family. That alone, I was pretty much sold. But just the heart that feels the film was something that I definitely responded to. And then once I had an opportunity to sit down across from our director and writer Benjamin Cleary, I just got a real sense of why he wrote the story and where it was coming from. And it was just it was something that I was really excited to do and be a part of. And so I signed up for it. And then we were able to round it out with such an amazing cast that once we were on the day working, I was just blown away. It was a dream come true.
Yeah, talking about the cast,
Yeah.
talking to Naomi Harris a while ago, she told me that both of you, you didn't rehearse at all.
No,
So it
no,
totally blew my mind. Like,
never.
so
Never.
can you elaborate a bit on the benefits of this kind of workflow? Because your
Yeah,
performances were so touching and so truthful.
thank you. It's so much funner that way to me. I think I think rehearsing, at least for me, it removes a little bit of the mystery out of it. I just feel like if I'm prepared and she's prepared, you can kind of, and she's so good that you can just trust that she'll be ready to go. So once the director calls action, it's like you have an opportunity to discover all these things for the first time and in the moment. I think once you start rehearsing, you begin to like lock in on certain things, so there's less room for surprise. So just jumping in like that with each other, um, it was the gift was in discovering in real time what the scene was about, what we were individually bringing to it. And I think in its own way, it created an instant chemistry because we both jumped in knowing that we had to trust each other and going on that journey together to discover, you know, the truth in the scene. And we just did that every day. It was fun. I've never had a chance to work like that before, but if you're anyone working opposite of Naomi Harris, you're in good hands.
Well, it worked so good.
Thank you.
And how did Benjamin Cleary adapt to this non-rehearsal workflow? Was he comfortable about it? Because it's kind of
That's a
tricky
good
for a director.
question. That's a really great question. I imagine he got comfortable with it if he wasn't already, because I could tell his probably natural instinct would be to talk it through in a way and work it out. When at a certain point, I think just where I'm at in my life right now, and just with the work, it's hard for me to just sit there and just talk. Like let's just do it and give me notes after if I'm in the world, if it's feeling right. We don't need to talk. Let's just keep doing it. Come in and tweak, more than welcome. But I don't have the bandwidth to over intellectualize stuff. It's like, what are we doing? It's time. We shooting or not? And we just start working. And so that just felt like the way to do it here. And Ben was happy. I could tell he was happy, meaning in the moment, every day, the stuff that we were getting and working through. And I think at a certain point, everyone just gave over to not knowing what was going to happen, but trusting it was going to be what we needed by the end.
Well, again, it worked perfectly. So
Thank you.
good job.
Thank you, Victor.
And regarding your performance, I found it both brilliant but extremely difficult to me.
Yeah.
Especially when we dive into the second half of the movie, once Jack becomes an active part of the action. So I'd like to know, how was the creation and assimilation of both Jack and Cameron? Because it looks super difficult to me.
Yeah, usually in a scene, you get to stand across from Glenn Close or Aquafina or Naomi Harris, and you're sitting there, you work out the scene, and it comes to life. In this case, in working opposite of yourself or knowing that it's going to appear to be that way, the only way to really do it is to sort of think out all the beats in the scene. And so what I did was I communicated those to my double, a gentleman by the name of Shane Dean. And I just, would say, I think this beat needs to be a little bit faster. I think the energy needs to be this, that, or the other here. So I would just communicate those things and he would do it. Maybe I'd ask him to do something a little bit different because knowing I was going to do it a little bit different once I was playing him. And so it was really a collaboration, communicating to him what it is that I was thinking I wanted to do. And then he was obviously witnessing me play the other character. So it wasn't a lot that I had to explain once we needed to switch. And we just did that every day. And then Ben would come in and tweak a little bit. At times, if I needed it, if something needed to hit a little bit different, we would use my audio. If I recorded the audio of one of the character, and then Shane would still be there sitting or standing in, and he would kind of pantomime some of the audio. And so that at least I got to hear what it would be like to hear myself, even though I wasn't looking at myself in a real way. So we just played with it and we found it, and they began to tape things together, and I got to see some examples of how it was going to work, which allowed me to really trust the process.
Great. So super interesting. So for my final question, I would like to ask you for kind of advice. So in your opinion, what's the best thing a director can do, or the best advice, direction, or tool he can give to an actor to get the best performance possible from him or her?
Space. And what I mean by that is you give them space to first express their ideas, get their ideas out, just trust them first. And then recognize what they're doing well, but the things that they're not doing well, understand how to speak to that, or the things that are not connecting with you. Just, you got to learn how to speak to that. But I think the most important thing is space and trust, because, if they're hiring actors, they already trust something about their ability and their capacity to bring it to life. So you just got to give them space to keep doing that, but then come in at the right moments and be able to speak to what's working and also be able to speak to what isn't quite working. And that's a two-way street, because your ego as an actor can't get in the way and be in the way of you being able to take a note in service of the story. And that stuff can happen as well. But I think it begins with space and listening as a director and understanding what it is you need to say and what you don't need to say. Because the last thing you do, you don't want an actor who's caught in his or her head.
Cool. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Victor.
It was super interesting. And again, thank you for the movie and your performance, because it was awesome. I loved it.
I appreciate that. Thank you, brother.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.